The Renaissance was the golden age of human civilization, the period when art and culture developed most brilliantly. This was also the period that produced the world's great men who are remembered to this day. The most famous and representative person of this era was Leonardo da Vinci. On April 15, 1452, in the town of Vinci in Tuscany in the lower Arno Valley, a baby was born. The boy's full name was Leonardo di Ser Piero da Vinci. Leonardo's mother was a poor peasant, while his father was a wealthy notary. The two fell in love and gave birth to Leonardo. However, at that time, the distinction between rich and poor was very severe. Leonardo's father did not want to be known as marrying a farmer's daughter. He abandoned Leonardo and his mother and married a rich woman. However, after living with this woman for a while, he still could not have children. So he decided to adopt Leonardo. At this time, Leonardo was just 5 years old, was an illegitimate child, and was separated from his biological mother. Leonardo was a lonely child. As a child, Leonardo did not go to school like other children, but he studied at home. From a young age, Leonardo loved music, painting, and drawing. In the 21st century, those who work as artists or study painting are considered to be idle. However, 500 years ago, this was a profitable profession. Seeing their son's talent, Leonardo's family supported and developed his talent since Leonardo was young. Around 1460, Leonardo's family moved to Florence. Andrea del Verrocchio was a famous architect and painter in Florence at that time. He was also a close friend of Leonardo's father. Leonardo's father brought his son's drawings to Verrocchio's house. When he saw Leonardo's paintings, Verrocchio was amazed at Leonardo's natural talent. He decided to accept Leonardo as a student. Around the age of 14, Leonardo moved to live in Verrocchio's studio for the convenience of his studies. During his time as Verrocchio's student, Leonardo showed his talent in many fields such as music, sculpture, mechanics, and especially painting. Verrocchio rarely completed his own works. He usually painted about 80% of the painting and then let his students finish it. When Verrocchio was unfinished with the painting of the baptism of Christ, he let Leonardo finish it. Leonardo completed this painting of a kneeling angel. When Verrocchio returned home, he looked at the painting. He realized that compared to his own angel with a dull face, Leonardo's angel was extremely lively. Verrocchio realized that his student's talent had surpassed his own. Perhaps because he felt too humiliated at being surpassed by his student, from then on Verrocchio did not paint any more pictures. Many scholars believe that Leonardo was homosexual. He apparently had no intimate relationships with women and expressed his distaste for heterosexual relationships. Leonardo often hired male models to pose for him. In 1476, he was accused of molesting a boy. Leonardo was arrested for investigation, but the boy he molested did not become pregnant, so he was released due to lack of evidence. During this time, Europe was in political turmoil, causing Leonardo to begin researching the production of military weapons. However, the weapons he created were ridiculed by the army. Because of being ridiculed, Leonardo was angry and left his hometown to move to Milan in 1482, when he was 30 years old. He worked for Duke Ludovico Sforza, but the Duke did not see his talent. Every time Leonardo presented a new invention, the Duke rejected it. Instead, he asked Leonardo to do unrealistic things. Too frustrated to work for a stupid Duke, Leonardo was thinking of quitting his job when suddenly the Santa Maria Monastery commissioned him to paint a picture for the church. The picture was called The Last Supper, and Leonardo spent more than 2 years painting this picture. In 1499, the French army crossed the Alps and attacked Milan. Milan fell and Duke Ludovico was imprisoned. Without protection, Leonardo fled to Venice in 1500s. There he worked as an architect and inventor of military devices. Around this time, he began to study aircraft. He bought many birds and let them fly. Everyone thought he was crazy, but he was actually studying the way they flapped their wings. He designed a pair of fake wings that he attached to his arms and imitated the way birds flew. However, he failed. In 1503, Leonardo left Venice and returned to Florence. Here he painted a portrait. This painting is now widely known as the Mona Lisa. This is also the painting that made his name famous around the world. This was originally a work of art commissioned by a merchant to be painted as a gift for his wife. However, perhaps Leonardo had predicted that this painting would make him famous in 500 years. So Leonardo decided not to sell this painting to the merchant, but to keep it with him. In March 1513, King Louis was overthrown. Losing his protector, Leonardo moved to Rome. Here, thanks to his connections, he was able to live in the Vatican and had his own studio. During this time, Leonardo's body began to weaken. Doctors predicted that he would only live a few more years. However, Leonardo was still very enthusiastic about research projects. He began to study human anatomy by dissecting corpses and drawing human body parts in great detail. Leonardo's illness worsened. He suffered paralysis of his right hand in October 1517. This is also the reason why the Mona Lisa was never completed. However, Leonardo continued to work enthusiastically until he became bedridden a few months later. Leonardo died on May 2, 1519, at the age of 67, the end of the life of a world-famous genius.